All right, summer season, you ready?
I'm ready.
Here we go.
Rolling forward, doctor, sister, science facts.
Welcome to this episode of the Rolin Forward podcast.
I'm Dr. Alicia Rolin.
I'm Dr. Stephanie Rolin.
We are both physicians. I'm a pediatrician and Stephanie's a psychiatrist.
We decided to do this podcast as a way of translating some complex health information, trying to make these big systems around healthcare make sense.
Because this new administration has changed the game, has changed the rules, has changed the laws.
Where is the rule book? I don't know. It's just gone. So we're here, front lines, practicing medicine in a system that's already complicated to begin with. And then it feels like the rules are changing around us.
Every week, we've been breaking down recent change in the administration. And this summer, we're going to do something a little different.
That's right. We decided to spend this summer focusing on recent Supreme Court decisions.
Ugh, really?
That's right. We are going to be talking about Supreme Court decisions that matter deeply to your child's health and the health care they receive.
Rolling forward, doctor, sister, science facts.
Even though the Supreme Court isn't a health agency, the decisions that the Supreme Court makes really shape the rules, rights, and the realities of healthcare across the country. This episode, we're just going to do a broad overview of how the Supreme Court affects child health. And then over the coming weeks, we will break down one of the recent rulings from the Supreme Court and talk in detail about how that is affecting healthcare in America.
Because although the Supreme Court might feel like it's very far away, even if you're living here in DC and it's not so far away, the reality is that these court rulings, they have impacts on your doctor's office. They impact your school nurse office. They impact your emergency room care. They're really a part of daily life, even though you may not always see it.
So let's start with the basics.
Have you been studying?
I have not been taking law classes, unlike someone else in this room.
That's right. Alicia's calling me out because I'm a forensic psychiatrist, which means I'm a psychiatrist that has done extra training in the law, including taking classes at law school and being involved in legal cases directly. So I do have a little bit more training, but I think we've all had to get trained in this era.
Stephanie has taken law classes for fun and will study Supreme Court briefings because they're enjoyable. And she's not wrong, actually. The more that she talks about it, the more fascinating it is, as particularly how such a small decision can have such huge change. It's the butterfly effect of the government.
So to start at the top with the basics, the United States Supreme Court, their job is to interpret the Constitution and federal law. But words aren't always clear. So when there's a disagreement between what rights people have or what the law means, it is going to be the Supreme Court that gets the final say.
They don't write laws about healthcare, they don't pass laws about healthcare. They can decide to review challenges about healthcare. And in that process, they can make changes to things like Medicaid coverage, vaccine mandates, reproductive care when those are challenged. And all of those have reached the Supreme Court before.
And then when the Supreme Court makes a decision about that, all of a sudden it changes. Who can access care? What kind of care can be provided? And what protections patients and providers have?